Hi, this is Alessio. Hope you're well, and I'm hoping you're having a great Christmas holiday. In this video, I want to try my best to answer a question many of you have been asking me in regards to the situation and the crash with XRP. Of course, as I'm sure you know by now, the news about XRP right now is terrible, and it's had a significant drop. So I want to try my best to answer the question many have been asking me about the situation of the charts with XRP. Many have been asking, is it over for XRP, or has it actually potentially bottomed? Okay, now before we go on to the charts, as I'm sure you know by now, the news right now about XRP is pretty bad. I mean, most of the articles right now all talking about the same thing, about the crash in XRP. And yes, also Forbes here is talking about the beginning of the end. I mean, you're seeing a lot of these negative articles about XRP, the beginning of the end for XRP. I mean, usually when I see articles being written like that, usually it tends to be a contrary signal. But of course, we'll take a look at the charts in a few minutes. So we'll take a look, of course, at the charts in a few moments. Before I do that, though, let me just first of all say this. It is usually the case that the news is always bad during a crash. So yes, I realize that right now, as I'm making this video, the news about XRP is, without a doubt, terrible. But that's the case, guys, with every crash. If you look at the chart of the S&P, I'm sure you remember what the news was back in March when the stock markets and Bitcoin both crashed, as you can see here. So you guys remember what the news was at the time, at this point in the stock markets. And the news was terrible. You guys remember that? It was all about the virus, about the pandemic. Everybody was panicking. Now, as you may recall, back at the time, I was bullish on the stock markets. So at the time, I was saying, look, I'm looking for a major bounce in the stock markets. I'm actually getting bullish on the markets. Whereas everybody else, almost everybody out there, was absolutely scared stiff. Why? Because the news was bad at the time. The news at this point was terrible about the economy, you know, the pandemic, the virus, also, of course, about the massive unemployment numbers. I mean, all the news about the economy was terrible. Unemployment numbers were skyrocketing. But look what happened. The markets rallied over 60%. So we mustn't assume, therefore, just because the news is bad, therefore the markets or the price cannot bounce. That's why we always base our decisions, guys, on price action. Price action is the number one thing we pay attention to, which is why we look at the charts. And that's why Bernard Baruch said, show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. All right, guys, let's continue. And I want to explore the chart of XRP from an Elliott wave perspective. For those of you not familiar with Elliott wave theory, it simply says that markets tend to trend in 5 waves and have corrections in 3 waves. That is the basics of it. So in my view, I actually think that after the March crash in XRP, as you will see here. So there's our crash in the month of March. I actually think since then, from the March lows to the highs we made in November, there it is, I actually think we completed a 5-wave move, as you'll see here. So you'll see, in fact, I'll do this for you in red. The red numbers are the bigger waves. The white numbers are the smaller waves, the minor waves. So I actually think it's quite likely we completed the, okay, there's our wave 1, likely wave 1, and probable wave 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we've completed 5 waves up in the first wave, the bigger wave in XRP. By the way, in case you're wondering, I know some of you are probably thinking, can wave 5 be longer than the length of wave 3? Yes, it is possible in Elliott wave theory for wave 5 to be longer in some situations than wave 3. As long as wave 3 is never the shortest. Remember, wave 3 can never be the shortest wave. And in this case, it was not. All right, guys, so I think we've completed 5 waves up in a much larger wave 1. There's a larger wave 1, 5 waves up. And I think this could be our wave 2 correction. All right, guys, remember, wave 2 usually retraces about 50% to 61.8% of the prior rally. If you just do a Fibonacci retracement tool, and so if you draw your Fibonacci levels from this low to that high, there you go, just put it there, you will see where this drop, this crash in XRP came down to. You will see that the crash, this drop, this potential C wave of this wave 2, or likely wave 2, came down to the 61.8% retracement. Look at that. It came down to the 61.8 golden ratio retracement and actually bounced off that level. That actually makes a lot of sense to me because if you take a look at this Elliott wave outline, wave 2 usually retraces, as you'll see here. The C wave of wave 2 usually comes down, typically comes down to the 50% to 61.8% golden ratio level. In other words, the retracement level of that prior rally. Okay, so that's the prior wave 1, and this is our wave 2. And then once wave 2 completes, you can see what usually happens next, the wave 3. The major wave 3 rally then begins, as you will see here. So I personally think it's quite likely that this major crash, this major drop we've had in XRP is that wave 2, the larger wave 2 drop. Okay, so that's our wave 1. And there's our wave 2 correction. And notice again, I'll just repeat this one more time. Wave 2 does usually retrace 61.8% of the prior rally. In this case, that major rally from March all the way to November. So far, so good, but that's not all. That isn't all of it. Here's something else I want to bring to your attention. Let me remove the Fibonacci levels. Notice what happened here as XRP dropped. As XRP dropped, look what it did. It took out that trend line. It broke the trend line and then immediately bounced above it again. That is something you usually see in corrections or capitulations as well, where price takes out support. This is what's called a false breakout, by the way. We talked about this with Jack Schwager, and Jack said to me in the interview that usually when something fails, usually when a breakout or a breakdown in this case fails, that is a very bullish sign. Okay, and something else, by the way, notice something else. You'll see this also in technical analysis. Again, another false breakout or breakdown. Notice it takes out the 200 moving average here. That's that green line you see on my chart. So notice what happens here. It goes below, so the price goes below the green line, the 200 average. That's the green line you see right there. Okay, and then what does it do? It bounces back above it. Okay, so break down below the 200 average and then immediately bounces back above it. Okay, that usually is something you see as well, these kind of false breakdowns or false breakouts, because everybody panics here. Okay, remember, at this point, everybody's panicking. Everybody's thinking, let me just push this back a little bit so we can see it a bit more clearly. At that point at that crash point right there, so as the price of XRP here was dropping, breaking below support levels. By the way, it took out these support levels here too. Took out all these lows, took out all these lows here as well, and breaks the trend line, breaks the 200 average. At this point, everybody is just panicking. Everybody's thinking, oh, okay, so basically we're going into a downtrend. That's what everybody is thinking. It's a downtrend. We're going into a bear market. So it seems pretty much a lot of people panicked and sold. And I actually think there's about a 60% probability, 63% probability that we've likely capitulated here on XRP. I actually think that it's quite likely, again, as long as XRP can remain above a key level, which I'll mention to you in this video, I think it's quite likely we've reached capitulation at these levels. And this could be the first wave of another uptrend, likely in XRP. Now, we'll discuss this in a few minutes as well. But I think given the extreme drop we've seen here, the pessimism, the absolute, the spike lows we're seeing here in XRP, the taking out of support levels, breaking below the trend line, bouncing back above it again. So to me, this actually spells out to me likely we've seen an ABC corrective wave, as you'll see here. I think this is the most likely interpretation of this drop. This was our wave A, B wave bounce, and this was our C wave crash, the C wave drop. And I think it's quite likely. And as long as XRP remains above a key level, which I'll show you today in this video, then I think it's probable that we've likely bottomed and we've seen capitulation on XRP. About a 63% probability of this, in my view. Okay? Now, so if it's the case, if this is wave 2, in other words, if this drop was the wave 2 correction, then let's go on a lower time frame chart. Now here's something I mentioned to you before I go on the lower time frame chart. If you recall my previous video, I said something to you very important. Do you recall what it was? Go and watch the previous video because I mentioned this to you. I said that, look, whenever you see a bounce after a crash, whenever you see a crash and then a bounce, okay, there's our bounce on the green bar there. Go on a lower time frame chart, because what you want to find out is on the lower time frame, let's go on a 1 hour chart, okay? On the 1 hour chart, this is the 1 hour chart of the bounce. That's the bounce you see in XRP. What you want to do is count the waves on the lower time frame and then ask yourself this question. Do you see 3 waves or do you see 5 waves? Okay, why? Because if it's only 3 waves, let me show you this. Let me show you this chart here. Notice in Elliott wave theory, 3 waves are corrective, okay, as you'll see here. Elliott wave structures are that when you see a 3-wave bounce or a 3-wave rally, it's usually corrective, which means we could see lower lows, lower levels. But a 5-wave move is typically impulsive, which means it could be the start of a new trend or uptrend. Okay, so as you'll see here, these rallies here, okay, 1, 2, 3, these are corrective structures. followed by new lows, as you'll see here. But if it's a 5-wave move, if you see a 5-wave move in the price action, as you'll see here, that usually means it could be the start of a new trend. In other words, a reversal. And as long as the next retracement is a 3-wave correction, that means the next wave could be the start of the new trend. In other words, the continuation of the trend. All right, guys, so let's go on the chart of XRP on the 1-hour chart. How many waves do you count here? Have a look at yourself. How many waves do you count on this bounce? Well, I count 5 waves. There's our wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 waves on my chart at the moment, which means what? Which means, if that's correct, we've got 5 waves. That means this could be wave 1. And this could be actually the start of a wave 2 pullback, wave 2 correction. Wave 2 correction, by the way, could extend. It might extend all the way to 0.24. Okay? So it's possible. I mean, it's possible wave 2. So let me just show you what I mean. We've got the 5 waves up on the 1-hour chart. 5 waves up means it could be impulsive. This could actually be wave 1, the smaller wave 1. This could be wave 2. Of course, wave 2 could extend as far as 0.24, which is a 78.6% retracement of that prior rally. So in my view, it's possible, and it's likely, if it's not already bottomed, I mean, it might have bottomed here on that level, but if it hasn't, then this could be a wave B bounce, and this could be a wave 2, as long as it does not fall below 0.24, and then as long as we hold 0.24, as long as we don't fall below 0.24, then we might begin the next major wave 3 to the upside. Okay, let's see. But by the way, if that's correct, if I'm right about this, then the next time, if the price of XRP can now, if it can break above 0.41 half, 0.4150, if XRP can do that, then very likely we're going into wave 3 territory. In other words, that would be our wave 1. There it is. As you can see, I've drawn here in yellow, but I'll do it for you in green. 1, 2, or 2 here, depending on how low this wave goes. And then we could be starting wave 3, taking us potentially to higher levels. By the way, that is only if we take out the highs we made here. We must be able to take out those levels. So let me be very clear about this. If XRP has bottomed, okay, if the crash in XRP has bottomed here at this level that we reached here a few days ago, if that's correct, if we've actually capitulated here, if that really was capitulation, wave 2 bottom, then XRP must remain above this low that you're seeing here. It really must not fall below 0.24. That's my line in the sand. So I'm going to draw a line here. Okay, that is my line in the sand at 0.24, which means what? What I'm saying is, if XRP has bottomed here, which is quite likely, I think, as I said before in this video, I think there's about a 63% probability XRP has likely capitulated here and bottomed. That is my higher probability scenario, okay? So my higher probability scenario and expectation for XRP is, yes, I think we complete a C wave of wave 2 here. That is my higher probability scenario for XRP, provided XRP does not drop below 0.24. Why? Because if XRP does fall, if it were to drop, let's say, below 0.24, my line in the sand, the support here, I'll just draw a horizontal line across that 0.24 level. Okay. If XRP drops below 0.24, what does that mean? It means, no, we've not bottomed here. Below 0.24, below 24 cents, it means we're likely moving to 0.19, which could be the next potential target for this larger wave 2, the bigger wave 2, perhaps on the balance of probabilities. But guys, listen, I actually would prefer it. I would prefer if XRP remains above 0.24 or 24 cents, because below that level, I mean, we cannot really know how low it might go. It might go to 0.19, but it might go even lower. So that really is my line in the sand. In other words, guys, just going to that 1-hour chart one more time. So this is the 1-hour chart one more time. If XRP has bottomed, which I think it has, again, I'm giving it the higher probability at the moment here. My higher probability scenario for XRP is that this low we formed here, that major crash that occurred here, was the bottom of wave 2, the larger wave 2 in red. And I think this rally here is wave 1, wave 2. Again, wave 2 may extend. It could extend lower to 0.24 perhaps, okay? But it must not fall below 0.24. Anything lower anything lower than 0.24, I'm not interested, because that means we're potentially going lower. Potentially we might drop to 0.19, maybe even lower than 0.19. But bottom line is that if it's wave 2 we're dealing with here, and if it extends a bit lower, then it must not drop any lower than 0.24. If it falls below 0.24, then the risk increases. The risk really increases to further downside potential, new lows on XRP. All right, guys? By the way, one more thing, very important thing. If XRP has bottomed, which I think is likely, it's probable, then XRP must be able to take out that high, this high here, that it made recently, just below 0.39. But actually, it needs to take out this level as well, 0.41 half, 41 half. If it cannot get above 0.4150, I'm not interested. Okay, so as long as XRP remains below 0.41 half, it's still potentially under pressure. Okay, I'm not saying we're in the clear. We're not in the clear just yet. Okay, remember, here's why. Let me show you this chart one more time. So if you look at this chart, look, 5 waves up. We've had 5 waves up so far in our potential wave 1 in XRP. We've had a corrective drop so far, about 3 waves, I would say, in the drop here. Now, the correction could extend a bit lower, yes, but here's the bottom line. If we're actually starting a new uptrend in XRP, that next wave must happen. In other words, we need to see another wave that takes out the high and extends higher above that. In other words, we need to see another 5-wave move to the upside, okay? That's what I'm waiting for. So I don't want to give the impression here that everything is hunky-dory, everything is fantastic for XRP right now. It isn't, because what needs to happen is that XRP must now persuade us that it's bottomed by going above 0.4150. If it cannot do that, if XRP cannot do that, I'm not interested, okay? So that would mean that potentially is going to see more downside. So what needs to happen is XRP must take out this level to persuade us that it's actually bottomed at 0.4150. Because a move, remember, a move below 0.24, if it happens, that likely means we're going to see lower levels, much lower levels, perhaps to 0.19 and potentially lower. By the way, one important thing I need to mention here. If I'm wrong on my bullish analysis of XRP, that XRP has bottomed here, that means, if I'm wrong on my bullish analysis, that means the rally so far has not been a wave 1 and a wave 2, but actually is an ABC corrective bounce. In other words, if it's an ABC corrective bounce, by the way, that means if we fall below 0.24, that means we could potentially extend lower into 0.19 and maybe potentially more downside as well. But that's only if I'm wrong on my bullish analysis that XRP has bottomed at these lows. Again, that is still my higher probability scenario. That is still my higher probability analysis of XRP, that we've likely capitulated and bottomed here. But if I'm wrong on that, then that means this rally so far has not been a wave 1 and 2, but actually an ABC corrective bounce to be followed by new lows on XRP. But I should just say, this bearish scenario that I just mentioned here is not something that I'm expecting. I'm not giving this scenario, this bearish scenario, high probability. So as I mentioned in this video, as long as XRP remains above 0.24, and if you can take out that level, 0.4150, then I remain bullish on XRP. I do think, I'm giving XRP the benefit of the doubt, because I do think the extent of this drop and everything has happened so far, breaking of support, going back above it, to me, this entire structure spells to me that we've likely capitulated and we've likely seen a bottom on XRP, potentially at these levels. So that's my higher probability scenario for XRP. But if I'm wrong on this, if I'm wrong that XRP has bottomed, then watch the 0.24 level. Because if it falls below 0.24, then we're likely going lower. And as far as targets for XRP, well, my targets for XRP, if we've bottomed, that is, and I think it's probable we have, my targets for next year in 2021 are at these levels. Wave 3 potential target at above $1, obviously above the $1 level, at 1.3, which is the 1618 extension of wave 1 from the lows of wave 2, potential wave 2. All right, guys, what I got here. And guys, if this video has helped, please give it a thumbs up and look forward to seeing you in the next video update. Cheers, guys. Bye for now.